Okay, hello Phil.
Hello.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for agreeing having this short interview with me. So the first question is, please tell us something about you, your work and your organization.
Sure. So my name is Phil Gamaghelyan. I was born and grew up in Armenia. I moved to the United States in 2001 and I have a master's degree in conflict resolution and now working on my doctorate also in conflict resolution. I'm also a co-director and co-founder of an organization called Imagine Center for Conflict Transformation that has been founded jointly by Azerbaijani-Armenian and American conflict resolution practitioners. And we have been working primarily on Nagorno-Karabakh conflict-related issues since 2007. We also have projects in Syria, Georgian Ossetian relations, and also some Turkish-Armenian projects. Do you want to know more about the projects, or?
I think that's very interesting. That's fine.
Oh, thank you.
Good, interesting. So a whole range of activities. Could you please describe a success story of your work?
Sure. I think there is sometimes miscomprehension of the term conflict resolution, and also. And in fact, our organization is called Center for Conflict Transformation, and it's intentional to separate our activity from what's perceived to be conflict resolution. So we do not intend to contribute to a political solution, at least not directly. We want to prepare a ground for a political solution, but our role is not to negotiate a political settlement. I think that's important in identifying what's success from our end. Yeah, I think we have few success stories. One biggest one for us is that our group has been consistently growing, and we almost don't have anybody leaving the group as they join us. So as people go through the dialogues, I think a very important factor is we directly confront the conflict. We don't shy away from discussing the hardest issues. So we go through a very painful, long, week-long, sometimes 10-day-long process as the first step as people join us in our programs, specifically talking about history of the conflict, about the present-day relationships, and coming to a very comprehensive and good understanding of complex understanding of each other's contexts, or all kind of different contexts that inform the conflict, and move away from very narrow, like one-sided vision of a conflict. And I believe through that, and through also very creative, very supportive each other teams we have in Armenia and Azerbaijan, and now have gradually in other countries too, but specifically that our teams in Armenia and Azerbaijan are very supportive of each other no matter what. And one really important factor for me was last year there was a crisis in Armenian-Azerbaijani relations. There was Ramil Safarov, a person who was an Azerbaijani person who killed an Armenian during a NATO meeting, has been released and welcomed as a hero in Azerbaijan. It really damaged a lot of relationships around me that I saw. But there was no impact in that sense in our group. I saw people were actually, Azerbaijanis were speaking critically about this, despite all the attacks and pressures they were getting. And Armenians didn't doubt, didn't question their relationship with the other side just because something happened on the political level. So I think this really long-term vision and involvement and commitment of people I see as a success.
Okay, interesting, great success. So it's a long-term engagement. The ICP has defined 3 fundamental elements for successful conflict transformation work. These are comprehensiveness, compassion, and creativity. So how do you, in your work or with your organization, how do you assure a comprehensive approach?
For a long time, I actually had a political science background before moving to conflict resolution and conflict transformation. I was putting big emphasis into conflict analysis. Then I started questioning the whole concept of conflict analysis because I think it presumes some kind of a removed, objective approach. And as a person who doesn't believe in objectivity, I think we are all conditioned by our experiences, our fields of study, all our baggage we bring into it. I think analysis, it's always subjective, and through that is limiting. We are limited to our own experience in our ability to analyze. So I put now, in the last couple of years, bigger emphasis on reflection and self-critical reflection, and actually ongoing self-critical reflection. So I do it on a very regular basis, but we also do it as a team on a very regular basis. So we really discuss the big picture. What is it that we are trying to achieve through our work? Is it, okay, this is a small project, but where is it really, does it fit into a bigger picture of the conflict? Is it really contributing? Are we really, through our practices, excluding people? Are we really discriminating? Are we marginalizing? Or are we really contributing to some kind of bigger goal? So through that, I think we are trying to make sure that every step we take, every project we design, is somehow taking into consideration the bigger realities of the conflict. So I think that's our approach to comprehensiveness.
Okay. Good. And how do you nurture compassion and empathy?
I touched on this a little bit before. It's really one of the early steps when we involve new people, when we do programs when people are first time getting involved. We have this very long, relatively long for conflict resolution meetings, a week to 10-day long dialogue process. And part of it is a very, very central part of it is to actually try to understand the other's narrative, the other's story, but probably the most importantly, the other's personal story. So we have a part of the program when people share their personal stories of the conflict, not the political one, but actually how personally the conflict affected them or their family. Through these conversations, through analysis of a conflict again from all the perspectives possible, through inclusiveness, we specifically aim to develop empathy and compassion. I believe without it, it's very hard to build trust, really understand the different perspectives other than yours, and really stay involved in the longer term. But that really changes once you really understand the other suffering, the other side's needs and desires. That then, once you have this compassion, then actually you are much more motivated to look at the conflict not only from your own point of view, but from the point of view that's going to solve it for everybody.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest challenges and one of the key achievements. And the third one, how do you further creativity?
Now, I don't know if creativity is an end in itself, so if really I see creativity as you have to have it, I think at the same time it's great to have it in some cases. I think creativity we nurture through sessions where we really ask people to forget all the limits and dream. We literally have programs, not programs, but parts of the program, we really ask to forget about every constraint and any constraint and really dream about the future, create a vision, and then think how we can get to this vision. Actually, that has been my way of going about life. I start from thinking what is it that I want to do and then think about how to do it, as opposed to thinking what I cannot do. So I think that opens up very, very creative ways of going around some obstacles and really resolving issues that seem quite unresolvable. And creativity comes out in a very, very surprising ways, and it's really different. But can I give one particular story? So this is not a creativity in a sense of really moving something big forward, but it was a very creativity in really on the spot how people can symbolically point something. So we're working with a Syrian group of Syrians, and one of the groups was giving a presentation about their group's needs. And as they were talking, they started building this house of blocks. They were very little blocks, and they kept building this house. And at some point, there was a conflict in the room. And once the tensions rose, the person who was building it just got genuinely upset and actually destroyed the construction he just made, spent almost an hour doing it. And then he sat down, and another person got up and started actually building this house again. And then at some point, once there was again an insult or something happened in the room, this person now intentionally broke this house again. And then somebody else got out and started building this house. And then at some point, people caught up what's happening. And there was really changed the conversation. People were really now caring about this house being built, because it was clearly symbolizing Syria at that point and their conflict in a room breaking this down. And there was, since that point, there was no conflict. Everybody was very careful and really compassionate, patient about when they were talking and addressing others, and very quickly actually this house got built. So I don't know, for me it was really a very spontaneous expression of creativity and symbolic that really brought the room together around an idea of the joint Syria, and actually they voiced it eventually, that this is what everybody started realizing this was it was.
Okay, great story. So maybe a new field coming up, peace dreaming.
I'm always for dreaming.
Great. Okay, thank you very much, Phil. Thank you.